Welcome to the realm of Millenia. Be a man, a woman, a child, a creature, or a demand. Be ye a native migrator, or maybe even an invader into the realm. Welcome, for I am your host, the Millenia Mailman, here today. As we go through a hot take hump day. Alright. Looks like... I'm pretty sure I already did that one. Fairly certain, so we're going to skip to the side. Yep. The next one is week 23, Devil's Advocate, hot take, hump take. No one's above the law because even one exception. I really need to start reading some of these out loud. Oh man. I can't tell if I'm reading it wrong, if it's just me being dyslexic, or the fact that I was hit by a car. This is why I don't do morning videos. Right? So I didn't actually stick to posting every single day. For the past 2 days, I didn't record anything at all or post, because I literally got hit by I made sure the scheduled post came out, but I didn't post any new ones to be scheduled because I literally got hit by a car when I tried to do a morning walk Mailman Monday. When I tried to do a morning Mailman Monday, I literally got hit by a car. So that was nice. So I'm gonna just keep it at nighttime instead. So I can't tell if it's like a minor concussion of sorts, or if it's because I actually wrote that wrong. Give me 1 second here. I'm pretty sure I missed a word. Yeah, I'm just going to add that word in there this time. Anyway, Devil's Advocate week 26. The hot take hump day is that no one's above the law because even one exception, as an excuse, is grounds for pushback from the true deplorable criminals to get away scot-free, while the innocents suffer. Oh man, I'm not even tired, but this will be a doozy, right? No one's above the law, and the reason that is because so long as we start making any single exception, it'll be grounds for people to take advantage of that exception, right? The whole idea of a loophole in the eyes of the criminal and the heinous people that'll get away with all the deplorable actions and deeds. They see all exceptions as loopholes. So the worst thing we could do is make an exception to the laws that we want to be able to say no one's above the law. Cap. Oh man, gas is getting low, but we'll survive. I'll be fine. Right now, the first 2 points basically set a baseline. Set a baseline for this argument, where number 1 point is that there's a baseline range of punishment for every crime. Every crime has a range of punishments, kind of established that, with the wide 20 to 25 years is acceptable for the life sentence. On similar grounds, there's a baseline range for every crime. Any crime you can think of, there's a baseline range for it, whether you go up, down to the lower minimum, or up to the highest echelon of the worst, is there for a reason, right? And it's the courts is always there to apply the worst of the worst punishments, because they know the book. The court is there to throw the book at you every single time. So the court is there to establish what crime are you allegedly here for. Great. Here's the baseline range for it. We understand this. We're going to go through all the details of this situation to establish whether you are not guilty. If we find that you're not guilty of it, this book that we throw at you gets thrown in the fucking trash. So long as we do find you guilty, it is going to be up to the prosecution. It'll be up to the prosecution to make sure that you get as much of that book punishment as possible, and it's up to your defense attorney and your lawyers to make sure you get as little as possible. And it's between you and your lawyer to sway the judge and or the jury as to agree with which side of you guys should be influencing your punishment the most. Right? Prosecution, up the punishment. Defense, down the punishment. Your job is to get you a lawyer, an attorney, a defense who is going to get you the results you want. If you want to be in prison for life because you like the rumors about the prisons, get yourself a terrible defense and help pay the prosecution. If you don't like jail, get you a defense attorney who's good, who can minimize and lower the standard of expectation for that punishment against you. If you don't like the price they're going to demand that you pay, get you a knowledgeable, good defense lawyer and tell them as much as about yourself as possible so they have all the possible information they could use to sway a jury or the judge themselves into giving you a lighter, reduced sentence. Okay? But the judge and the judge is there specifically to know the rules. The jury is there to specifically be swayed in one of your ways. Right? The courthouse itself is there to determine whether or not you are guilty. It is up to the judge and the jury to decide your fate, and is through the defense and the prosecution to figure out where exactly you belong. Right? And that's all that point 2 is pretty much establishing, where I wrote directly, the court is always there to apply the worst punishments of the whole law book every single time alongside the jury. This is the duty and responsibility of the specialist professionals to convict and ensure maximum punishments are credibly upheld. Hashtag the DA somehow is always the prosecution. Or to see punishments justly minimized and invalidated reasonably in accordance to the case-by-case basis of circumstances. Hashtag defense and judge. The lawyers are on both. Next point. The lawyers are, I mean on or on both sides? I used the word are twice there. I probably meant on. The lawyers on both sides are called to be biased on method actor terms and conditions for their clients. So another way of saying that, hey, the prosecution, the lawyer on the prosecution side, they're there to be the method actor that paints their opposition as a criminal because their client wants them to. Be it the DA's office and the DA is representing the state or the city, or be it that the defense attorney is there and being a method actor. I know my dude did it, but I'm going to method act and get all the empathetic sympathy out of the jury and everyone possible because that is my job as defense, to run defense for you. Right? Right? Lawyers are there on both sides to be biased and get you help. The judges on all levels are mandated to be impartial for the conviction and the decisions because everyone is innocent until proven guilty and be judged judiciously consistent and proper in the rationale sentencing of punishments of the convicted. And I have a quote here: "You're hereby convicted and sentenced to blah blah blah, no parole and a fine of blah blah. In light of blah blah blah," that's that key phrasing for you. "In light of blah blah blah, the years are cut in half," right? So that first line, "I hereby convict and sentence you to blank," right? That is your conviction. That is what you are proven to have based on what the prosecution has been able to articulate. Like, yep, we've established that you're guilty. Here's your punishment, and yada yada. The next sentence, "in lieu of," is the reduction that your lawyer got you. "In light of blah blah blah, the years will be cut in half. You do get parole and a fine of blah blah blah, with the opportunity of early release on good behavior and a fine payable to blah blah blah." And again, in light of what your defense and your side has been able to articulate, we're going to waive your payment to the court, or this fine, to be a free 99 if you can obtain early release, right? Or whatever condition. That is the whole point. And no one's above the law, and there are no exceptions. The whole point of the law, as morally gray and misunderstood and hard to conceive in your mental mind space, the whole point of it is to establish this good faith barrier. No one's above the law. We all get treated equally. The fact that people get so hung up and absorbed in the fact that bad people can't afford or get better lawyers, there is a thing to be said about that. But that is not a problem with the system we have in place. That's a problem with the corruption and other factors all around. People are corrupt. Otherwise, we wouldn't have to talk about whether or not someone is a criminal or not. Right? It is not a failure of the legal system, of the courts, or the law. It's a failure of there being corrupt people in and everywhere in all sectors of life, most unfortunately. Right? And the final 2 points we got here, that is the true goals of the founding fathers establishing the courts, right? That's how every elected and hired court official is supposed to be taught to act. This is the capitalist society America, where even most American soldiers, at least, I spelled that wrong. Spelled that wrong and then made the wrong word here. This is the capitalist society America, where even most American soldiers attest to being told that even the government is another business you got to know how to milk and manipulate in order to serve your country. You got to make the service serve you.
Sorry it took you so long.
No, I don't care. It's you who's going to be late to school.
I'm not gonna be late.
Allegedly. Alright, that's fine. So, yep. I didn't feel like telling you. I was about to go up and I'll be in the car recording until you're ready. And then I felt too lazy to go up the stairs. Literally no fault of yours. But yep, I'll just do a part 2. But yeah, seatbelt. That's the whole general idea behind it for you.